The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Hello and welcome to the Game Changer series for Global Entrepreneurship Week 2016 in association with Business Crowd. I'm very pleased to have Neil Benn with me today, who is going to speak with us about his expertise in video and how you can make your videos compelling and use that to attract new business. So welcome, Neil, and tell us a little bit about yourself and your background.
Okay, well, we start when I was 11, if we got long enough. I saw Crackerjack being recorded many, many years ago and at the BBC, and that's when I decided I wanted to work in telly. But I was told, no, do maths, do physics, do computer science. So I ended up with a computer science degree, and I still want to work in telly. So with a little bit of persistence, I got into the BBC's IT department and then made an absolute pain of myself. And after another 3 years, they said, okay, what do you want to do? And I got moved into machine. I was making maths programs because half my degree was maths. And that was, would you believe, 1989 when I became an assistant producer. And since then, I worked through BBC. I left as a director in the mid-90s. I've worked for many different broadcasters from Sky, Discovery, Nickelodeon. I've got BAFTA nomination, RTS Awards, and about 5 or 6 years ago, because of personal circumstances, I had to stop the TV career and started using all the skills as a producer, director, writer, editor, creator of content to help businesses make their own videos. So I bring a broadcaster's attitude to video production. It's all about the content. It's all about engaging an audience, because obviously that's what I was doing when I was at the Beeb. So that's a potted history of how many years. I can't say, over 40 years. I don't know, maybe, yeah, since I was 11. Yeah, my maths is right. It's over 40 years.
Yeah, so it's always been about, I suppose, persistence pays off, which is rule number one in business.
Absolutely, and being really clear what I wanted to do, and I wouldn't take no for an answer, you know?
And with your shift into working with businesses, I mean, obviously there's a huge demand. We see the statistics now with how video content and video advertising is now where it's at. I mean, obviously you couldn't have foreseen when you started your career the advent perhaps of how the internet would have developed, because I think it was only first launched in 1989, if I remember rightly. But now it's developed into the ability to connect with people globally, particularly through video content.
Well, absolutely. I think it's around 70% of all internet traffic now is video. And that's going to, within the next 2 or 3 years, that's going to get closer to 80%. And I remember when I was at the Beeb in the kind of mid-90s, and they were talking about video subscription services and things like Netflix, which hadn't been created then, but they were already talking that the shift from people sitting on their sofas watching television all together for that family type experience is going to shift. And my kids these days, they don't watch television, they watch YouTube, and they get everything they want online. So absolutely video is massive. But obviously my shift is now into businesses. So how can I get business owners, sole traders, entrepreneurs to harness that power?
Yeah, what's really fascinating with what technology has opened up, it's almost the democratization, I call it, of content and being able to share things because we have the technology in our pocket.
We have, and we have had pencils and typewriters and keyboards for many, many years, but that doesn't make you Shakespeare or Picasso. So the tools being there is one thing, and yes, it makes it easier to shoot a video. you still need to get your content right, and you still need to be able to craft and create a great video, because the more and more videos out there, people are going to get more and more picky and more choosy on what they're going to watch. And if you don't give them what they want or they're expecting in the first 10 seconds, they're not going to watch your video. So it's great. Technology has made it so much easier, but you still need to have all the skills of creating the content, storytelling, all those kind of things.
And as you say, that first 10 seconds, that's so important. What are the things that businesses need to consider to be able to make impact with their videos, whether that's to create a sale or whether it's to train, educate and engage people with the product?
I think it's consistency. So if you've got a title for your video, for example, let's say you're sharing your expertise and you want to raise your profile. So you've been told sharing your expertise is a great way to raise your profile and get more people to know, like, and trust you through your videos. You have to find a great title. It's like creating a headline for a TV program. You headline it. If your content is not what your headline is, people will switch off. So you need to be really clear what your message is, what you say in that 2-3 minutes if you're going to do short little videos, which is where I suggest businesses start. Do small videos, short videos, but so the more you get out there. So let's say I was working with a dating coach yesterday. Now her expertise is in helping people get really clear on the partner they want to find and getting out the way of themselves, because a lot of people have difficulties in communicating. So she would make lots of little videos on how to communicate on your first date. That would be all, or what to say on your first date. That would be one video. And then there will be another video of how to finish the date. Do you see what I mean? Every aspect you break down into small little nuggets, and you title it and create the content so it's very, very consistent all the way through.
Because usually when we're presenting data in a business, normally we're looking at there's 5 key points, there's a number of points under that. So really that would chunk down. If you're structuring that for video, really it needs to be 25 separate videos.
Absolutely, and you know what? That is great, because you have 25 separate videos. You've got 25 opportunities to be found on YouTube if you put it on and you tag it and you describe it right on YouTube, all pointing to your website or driving traffic to your website. So I always suggest, if you're going to make a video and you're starting out, yes, headline it, get a very strong opener and give the viewer a reason, what they're going to get from the video and a reason to watch it, and then have just 3 points. So one big idea broken down into 3 points, and then stick a call to action at the end. You've shared some of your expertise. You want people who watch it to give something back, and that might just be, please leave a comment to tell me what you think, or if you would like me to share some other ideas, what would you like me to talk about, all the way through to, please press this link and sign up for my 30-day program, or whatever. So it's like strong opening, 3 bullet points on one area, and then a strong call to action at the end. And you get used to doing that, you build up through your YouTube channel subscribers, and as people get used to you, you can then start lengthening the length of your videos so they can start getting longer, and then you start bringing bigger production values in, and you could be making 10, 15, 20, 30-minute programs, but you have to build up that audience first.
And that's a really interesting point that you raised there, Neil, about when to bring in the production values, because I think there's 2 things. There's the production, and there's also the presentation. So it is the sort of the individual who is showcasing what they're doing or presenting a product. How do you work with them to help them to communicate in their best way on camera? Because I've seen you in action, and what you do is much more than guiding somebody on the technicalities of how to shoot.
Absolutely. To be honest, with an iPhone these days, everybody knows how to shoot video. There are some little things like learning how to set the focus and exposure that not everyone knows how to do, and you stick it on a tripod and you get the right microphone and a little LED light. But to be honest, that technical stuff could be sorted out in 20 minutes, half an hour, and then it is about the confidence in front of camera, how to communicate your message to camera. Now, a lot of people say, well, you know, I haven't written my script yet. And I say, well, don't write a script. Unless you happen to be an actor who's trained in delivering scripts, don't write a script. Because you as a business person, an entrepreneur, will not have the expertise and the training and the ability to deliver a script and sound natural at the same time. However, you are an expert at what you do, and I'm sure you're great at talking to clients and people about what you do. So you need to talk that kind of way to camera. So again, this girl I was working with yesterday, she hated being in front of the camera to start with. And what I did, and I'm filming on my phone, so it is non-threatening. If I went in with a full broadcast kit, it could be quite threatening and intimidating. No, I'm filming on my phone. I'm sitting directly behind the lens and saying, you know, just talk to me, just tell me what's going on. And she had a conversation with me. I just happened to press the record back button and capture it. So really, as you're starting out, you need to be having conversations with your clients. It just happens that there's a phone in between you and the perceived client that you're talking to.
And then
you come across authentic.
Yeah. It's the main barrier, isn't it, for people, is the confidence to get in front of the camera initially.
Yes, and you know, I was really fortunate. In schools television, I was going in and out of schools filming head teachers and support staff and even kids. And you turn up with a full BBC crew, people are really, really nervous. So I would have a little method that I would work with a camera, normally camera, and a couple of times a camera with, but the camera operators, I would have a signal, like I would scratch my nose or something, and they would start filming. So I would sit down and I would say to the contributor, said, look, they're just going to set the camera up. So I would ask a few questions like, so tell me about the school dinners, or how's the sports day going, or something very matter of fact, kind of very general. And then I'll drop in and say, what about that Ofsted report? How's that affected the school? And I would have just scratched my nose just before asking that question. The cameraman would be filming, and they would be just talking to me the same way that they had been talking to me about the school dinners and the sports day. And at the end of it, I'll just nod and smile, and at the end of it, I'll go to the camera operator and say, I really wish you'd been recording that. And they turn around and say, well, actually, we were. And so I go back to the contributor and said, you were amazing, you're so good at this, fantastic, let's just get on with it. And because they realized they'd done one really good one without worrying about it, everything else was easy. So you've got to get into that kind of mindset. It's just, I'm just talking normally about stuff I know.
That's very good advice, very good.
And I do have a little trick. If it's really, really difficult, get a photograph of your favorite client, cut a hole in one of their eyes, and stick it on your phone where the lens is. So the lens is poking through the hole, and you're talking to your client.
Excellent. Excellent. And what are the other ways that people can use video to promote their businesses and grow their businesses? Because obviously we see testimonial videos, and I think they're really impactful.
Testimonials are real gold dust. So people say, if you say how good your business is, that can be boasting. It can come across as arrogance. But when your clients say how good your business is, it's proof. So when you film yourself, you share your expertise. You show people who you are, so they can build that trust in you, that know, like, and trust. And people won't work with you until they know, like, and trust you. And through sharing your expertise, they will get to know, like, and trust you and want to work with you. But you don't say how good you are at what you do. You let them decide from, your presentation. However, you get your clients to give you the testimonials. So when they say, well, I work with Neil. In fact, I got a lovely testimonial yesterday from the girl I was working with, and she said something like, before I work with Neil, I have waited 3, 4, 5 months to get these videos done, and we've done them in 3 hours, and I'll tell you, it was so much fun, and I really loved being in front of the camera. I don't know why I was scared. How I can't say that, but when it comes from someone I've just worked with, it's absolute gold dust. And then so somebody else who's sitting there thinking, oh, I really should have done my videos, and I'm really scared, but I do need to hear somebody else say that. They think, well, maybe it's not such a big thing. Maybe I should pick up the phone and talk to Neil.
So How have you developed your business? Obviously, it's been going for a few years now. How have you developed your business and used your own methods to connect with your clients?
When I started, I mean, working in television and broadcasting is very different from working in business. So when I was in TV, it was have a show reel of programs you've made. So, you know, I've probably made hundreds of programs, and a show reel is maybe a 5 to 8 minute video of the best clips of the shows. Have a CV with all the credits on. It's not like a normal CV. It's just all the credits and the programs, and then have a discussion with the broadcaster. And if everything fits together, it's maybe 6 months' work or 9 months' work or 3 months' work. So it's very different. In business, because the projects tend to be smaller and faster turnaround, there's a lot more work in creating that business. So I started off doing networking like everyone else does, and made some connections and got little pieces of work, and then those people that I'd worked with, it's word of mouth, suggested me to other people. But I was finding that I was spending a day a week networking, and that was a lot of time out my week. And I wouldn't create business in the first meeting or the second meeting or the third. It takes 6 or 7 connection points, I think you told me this, before someone's willing to buy it. So what I do is I preach. I use video. I have a video blog, neilbenn.tv. That's one N in Ben, by the way. And I have a video blog where I share my expertise, and I post it on Facebook, and I'll tweet, and I'll occasionally put them on LinkedIn. And what happens now is people see what I do, and when they meet me face to face, they already know me and like me because they've seen me. They might have not seen me face to face. So I do less networking, and I get invited to network groups to share my expertise. So what I'm doing is maybe 3 or 4 network events a year, but I get 30 minutes to talk about what I do and share my expertise. And I'm getting the same amount of exposure, but I just have to go to 4 meetings as I would have done maybe doing a year's worth of 1-minute pitches.
Absolutely.
So by elevating my expertise where people see me as the expert in what I do, has made an enormous difference. So yeah.
Yeah.
What other things I do?
Good. And what are the other skills that you've needed to learn as a business owner? What are the things that you wish somebody had told you when you were starting out?
Blimey, that's a good question. Yeah, I wish someone had told me that doing the work was the easy bit. All the other stuff like the promotion, the marketing, the admin, all those other things, that's what's been the hardest thing for me. Me, with my filming, directing, editing, writing, I can do that. That's easy. And maybe earlier on I should have brought in expertise. I try to do everything because cash flow, you know what it's like when you're starting a new business. Cash flow isn't flowing as freely as you hope. So I thought, okay, well, I need to do the accounts myself, and I need to keep the books myself, and I need to do the marketing myself. But you know what? Buying in expertise when you need it, because they do it so much better and so much quicker than I do, and I can focus on the things that I know.
Do you know, that has been the common thread with so many people that I've spoken to in this series, both new business people and people who've been in business for 30 years plus running it.
And it's scary because I'm thinking, okay, I mean, I want some flyers done. Okay, right now I'm sitting and I've got a few people I need to do, and I want to promote, and some of the programs that I'm doing, I want some flyers. Now, I could sit down in front of a graphics package and do it myself. And you know what? I haven't got much on this afternoon, and I could do it. And it wouldn't be a quarter of the way as good as hiring someone to do it professionally, perfectly, quickly, great, with all the right skills, and make a bigger impact. So I just sometimes have to bite the bullet and say, you know, this is an investment. It's an investment in my company, which is going to pay back, rather than I'm just using all my time.
Absolutely. It's one of those things, just because you can, it doesn't mean you should. Yeah. And I think that this is one of the areas, we were discussing this on a couple of the other interviews, where entrepreneurs, particularly at the early stages, can run themselves into burnout. They can stifle their
Yeah.
creativity by taking on too much, because actually it's not all about hustle and putting in crazy hours. It's about being strategic and being highly effective at what you do.
So this is why one of the programs I've created, you know, I do teach people how to film their own videos on their phone, which is great. But now I've just said, but you really should hire an expert to do that for you. So it's about supporting people. So you can do some of the work yourself, but you need somebody like a coach or a mentor who knows the direction you need to go in to make sure you're on thread, on direction, on task, to enable you to do it better than you could have done if you just did it on your own. So, you know, I support people with their scripting and some editing and coaching so that they're comfortable in front of the camera. But they're just doing the filming bit, which, to be honest, like I've already said, press the buttons and set up a light and a microphone. I know you've done it, Laura. It's not that difficult, is it? But you do need a little bit of a nudge and encouragement to keep doing it and to keep doing it well. So even if you're not willing to let everything go and want to do stuff yourself because cash flow is struggling, get someone to cheer you along the journey.
Yeah, I think it's about having that growth plan. And I think actually, and it's an interesting paradox as well, because sometimes it's that stops people getting their content out there because they worry about perfect. And done is always better than perfect, but it's about knowing that as you grow your business, as you've found, you've probably had 1 or 2, 3, 4 different iterations of things that you're doing, new product launches, things evolve.
Well, I actually think perfect is wrong because nobody in this world is perfect. And if I'm doing a video, I mean, whenever I make a video, I put my outtakes at the end. For a few, seriously, I do it for a few reasons. One, because it's fun and people enjoy it, and it gets people to watch the video all the way through to the end because they know there's outtakes coming. Two, it shows that I'm human and I make mistakes as well, and it also therefore encourages people who are willing to make their own videos realize that if they make a mistake, it's not the end of the world. They just take a deep breath and start again. So I think being perfect, nobody's perfect. Even, you know, the people at the top of their game, you're always learning. So I just kind of get onto it. And if I feel I've done a good job and I've done the best I can at this moment in time, well, the best I can is great. It's fantastic. It doesn't need to be perfect.
Absolutely. And so, Neil, how can people engage with you and find out a little bit more about your programs and what you do?
Well, I have a website, as everybody else does, which is neilben.com. That's neilben.com. And there's also neilben.tv, which I mentioned, which is my video blog, so they can look at that. I'm on the usual Facebook. I don't really do Twitter that much. Don't know. It's just I've just not got into it. We all have our different social media platforms, and I've got a YouTube channel, which will be lovely for people to subscribe to. So yeah, pop onto my website. There's a contact button. Drop me a contact. Have a chat. I love having Skype conversations with people if they're far away, and I love sitting over coffee and cake if they're close and just talk. And if you've got a question that if you're thinking about video and you're not sure, but you kind of want to, but you're not sure and stuff, you know, jump on a Skype call with me. You know, we can have a chat. No obligations. And if at the end of it I said, you know what, leave it another couple of years, or maybe do a bit of Facebook video, or do you know what, we're ready to get the full broadcast crews out to you right now. I'll be over in 10 minutes. It could be anything between, you know, nothing and the full works. Because as I've been trained as a creative director, I'm not interested in what style, what genre, whether we're going to do documentary, comedy, animation. I'm interested in your message and what your audience or your customers want to hear. So that's what we'll look at. And if you are already broadcasting your message great to your audience through other mediums and it's working well, then we may only need to tweak a little bit in terms of having a little bit of video to add into the mix. If you're not broadcasting anything and your offering is so complicated, I was working with a woman the other day whose company is called Ethical Value. What she does is amazing, and it's really difficult to explain. So I had to work with her on getting her story straight, and we made a whiteboard animation that explained what she did. And then when people watched the animation and heard the voiceover, they got what she did. Because sometimes it's too difficult to just stand there and say, well, we do this, this, and this, and this, you know. So it really depends what it is and where you're at and where you want to go.
That's
We'll
really
decide what we're going to do.
Yeah, because the animation, it does work very well in the CSR.
It works really well. It works really well. And, you know, and there are people that, you know, no matter what coaching or training or hand-holding, they just won't want to be in front of camera. And that's fine. There is so much that can be done with video, even as simple as creating a PowerPoint slide presentation and getting some screen recording software, doing the voice and playing the PowerPoint. You've got a video. Yeah. So, you know, all the way up to hiring actors to do it for you.
Yeah.
And obviously a multi-award-winning director to direct it for you.
Obviously. But to everybody listening, I would say definitely do go and have a look at Neil's websites. There's a wealth of information there. And one of the interesting things, which might be an idea that you want to implement in your own businesses, is Neil, you're very good at answering as well questions that come to you through some of the Facebook forums and groups through the medium of video, which I think is a fabulous way, again, for engaging with your customers, to give them that opportunity to ask
questions. Because, you know, I do love questions, because, you know, I'm always looking for new content, new ideas to create for my video blogs. So if someone asks me something that's related to video and I don't have a video blog for it, I think that will go on the list, and that will be something I'll make a video blog about. And then it's not just you that benefits, and it's great that you do, but a lot of other people who may have asked that same question can see. So all I'm doing is practicing what I'm preaching. I'm sharing my expertise. I'm putting myself out there and saying, hey, this is what I do. Ask me a question and I can help. And then I have got some lovely customer testimonials on my site. And then at some point when someone thinks, video, now who's that bloke that we, oh yeah, Neil, he does that. We're going to give him a ring. You see, and that's how the business comes. It's not a hard push. It's putting yourself out there, showing and making yourself available. And when people are ready, they will come to you. And it's so much easier when it happens that way than you have to hard sell.
Absolutely. Attraction marketing. It's great. Okay, well, Neil, thank you so much for sharing your thoughts with everybody today. I know there were lots of nuggets in there, so I'm
just warming up. I'm just warming up.
Yeah, so I'm sure there'll be lots more to come for you, and really looking forward to watching how your business evolves and how you're helping other people, because actually I know the lady that you're referring to with the ethical business side of things. So
you do, yeah.
Really, really fantastic.
And she's very happy. Have you seen her video?
Not yet.
I posted it on Facebook. Have a look. It's on my feed, so have a look.
Definitely. Okay, that's wonderful. Thank you so much for your time today.
My pleasure.